He's still learning.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jeff. That's Emily. That's Julian. That's Joseph. That's Flynn. And that's Maddie. And you're watching Tons of Fun. We'll see you after the bump, as soon as I remember how computers work.
Nailed it.
Yep. This is fine. All right, there we go. Copyright away.
Hey! Oh.
Where's Kirk?
Oh my goodness.
Where
do you think he is? he'll be here soon. I don't know.
A majority of the panel is, it's Pride Month. So, damn it, we wanted to have fun.
I'm here as an ally.
I said, Joseph, okay.
Hey, I'm gonna change my I'll be your Huckleberry to I'll be your heterosexual.
Alrighty, so welcome.
You're the token straight.
Welcome to Tons of Fun. It's the special Pride edition. And tonight we're joined by Tricky Bricks, who is like, man, why did I agree to do this?
Way to kick it off, man. All right.
Oh, Mr. BDSM is here. Hey, Kirk.
Right, exactly.
You explicitly told me not to break Kirk, and now you're just doing it.
That doesn't apply to me. All right, so tonight we're going to be talking sci-fi / horror movies of the 80s. And this will probably be very boring for Maddie because she's like, I have no idea what any of this is.
I don't
watch
movies.
Yeah,
ditto. I don't watch horror movies, so ditto.
Well, perhaps tonight you will learn some that you could watch or not watch at your discretion.
Exactly. So there's Kirk. He's here now.
Hey,
Hey,
Kirk.
all right. My mic works. Hey, guys.
And there's a cat. Oh, and
Cat
cat.
butt.
All right.
Cat butt. It's a stream, everybody. Cat
I
butt.
know. He makes an appearance every time I'm on the computer. It's like his thing. So sometimes you just know what I am.
So we're going to start off with a classic. We're going to talk about Jaws.
Jaws. I knew Jaws.
All right. So, Flynn, since you kind of got the old man card here, did you see Jaws in the theater? You do!
Man card.
No, I was actually too young to see Jaws when it came out in the theater. It was, but I did see Jaws 3 in 3D at the movie theater with tickets that I won off the radio. So
At least they were free. At least you didn't pay for them.
That's the one at SeaWorld, right?
what?
That's the one at SeaWorld, right?
Yes, yeah, and like the big sort of like literal watershed moment at the end is, you know, like the like terrible whatever it was, like I think it was like a composited shot of like the shark busting through the underwater like glass control center. And I remember being even like, and I had seen a lot of 3D movies at that point because I was really into old film and would go to see stuff at the movie theater. And at that time they were playing a lot of the like stuff from the 60s that was in 3D and you could see. And so when that came, and then there was like this little 3D craze like that. There was the Piranha movie that was in 3D. And so by the time Jaws 3D came out, it was all, I was like, oh, yeah.
This is old hat. Pip, pip, move along. Thank you. That movie scared the hell out of me when I was a kid, and my dad would torture me with it whenever we would be in any body of water.
Aww.
Oh, well, sure. And that's the thing, like now, I kind of went on a tangent about Jaws 3D, but the original one, when I was a kid, it was like a cultural moment. It was like Star Wars was a cultural moment. Like there were all these, these sort of like movie cultural moments that you have in certain, through different eras, and that one in particular, like there were songs about it, there were t-shirts, like even kids, like if you hadn't seen the movie, you knew that picture of the the shark with the lady swimming on the top of the water real small, like that was like iconic the minute that it came out on a poster. Everybody was, and it created a huge huge fear of the ocean for a generation of people, and I am not exaggerating that in any way.
It's absolutely wild.
It's pretty fun. Kirk, what are your thoughts on Jaws the movie? Thanks, Kirk.
Jaws.
All right.
What?
Kirk, go ahead.
Yeah, Jaws. I remember watching it for the first time, which was a few years back. I would say I enjoyed it. And then, I think for me, like, just shark movies in general, there aren't a lot that I like, but I think that was probably like my favorite out of all of them that I've seen. Of course, the rest is history with like the other films. Like, kind of goes.
But what about
down.
Deep Blue Sea?
I didn't watch that one yet.
That one has moments where it's so stupid, it's fun.
Yeah.
Like,
Is it? I don't know.
Well, it was, and like any movie, like especially horror movies that become like a cultural thing, there's always like all the knockoffs. So there was one called Orca, the killer whale. Yeah, and I remember being really freaked out because that was the same kind of whale that they had at SeaWorld. And I was like always terrified that it was gonna, just like eat people in the splash zone or whatever.
That would have been horrible. Yeah. Julian, what about you? Do you remember watching Jaws the first time and just being like, "Nope, I'm done"?
I remember watching them all when I was young, but Jaws 3, where the guy when Jaws broke through the thing, dude, I'm just like you, I was terrified. Couldn't I had never seen him. I was like, oh wait. It's one thing if you're swimming. It's another thing if you're in a closed environment. Oh, crap.
Yeah.
Joseph, what about you? Jaws?
I've never seen it.
Fantastic. All right.
Well, I do have an associated memory with it.
Okay.
I think I was trying to determine if it was this live stream or another one. I don't think it was this one. But every summer, my family would go to, like my extended family, we'd rent like a beach house. And coincidentally, we would always rent this beach house during Shark Week. So all the commercials were Shark Week, and most of them were Jaws. And I remember being so horrified. This was in like the early 2000s, so I was pretty young. And I just remember it would always start this particular advertisement. It would be like a family doing something like canoeing or at the beach or playing volleyball or something. And then it would cut to like a postcard image and it would say like, from the Johnsons, like blah, 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 blah. And then after the screenshot, it would show like Jaws like eating the whole family. And I remember being absolutely horrified and absolutely hating it and refusing to go in the water. So that's where I began my love of building sandcastles because I was not about to go into the water.
Well, it was. So first, it's like the iconography though of that poster is, I feel like, something that everybody understands. Like even if you've never seen the movie, don't know anything about it, like that. Just it's been like done so many times and redone and spoofed and all of that. It's just kind of part of our like horror movie cultural heritage in a way. And then of course, if you've ever been on the Universal Studios lot tour, there was the infamous like the shark attack on the car as you went through.
Art comes up. Yeah, I almost had Emily convinced to go with me to Universal Studios before we were engaged or whatever. And so that's the poster in many varying forms. Yeah. Got the orca in the background, one of them. Anyway, and I was like, man, maybe I should ask her to marry me when the shark pops out of the water.
Okay, that wouldn't have worked because I knew it did that.
I mean,
37
in a row. So we didn't do that. But Kirk, you're kind of an '80s movie aficionado. You know stuff about '80s movies. Jeff can talk. What director kind of shaped your love for sci-fi horror?
3 hours later.
I'm trying to think because here's the thing. I know I've like binged through a lot of them, but there are some where I don't remember the name of the director.
Uh-huh.
So I guess let's see. I feel like Alien is kind of playing like the cheap card on an answer.
No, that's entirely acceptable. That is
Okay.
like a genre-changing movie. Like, absolutely.
It's okay. So maybe it's either. As much as I would hate to say this, I want to kind of say like James Cameron, but then,
Yeah,
James Cameron also.
It's saying to me.
No. Like
So Titanic.
When it comes to James Cameron, it's probably going to just be like Aliens, and then what's it called? Terminator.
What about The Abyss?
Oh, yeah,
Huh?
The Abyss was done by
What
him.
about
Did
The
I watch
Abyss?
The Abyss? I don't think I did. I haven't watched The Abyss.
Come on, man.
I haven't watched The Abyss.
Come on.
I haven't watched it yet.
I hadn't seen it until recently.
I know. Flynn, have you seen The Abyss? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about. I saw it. So, Amazon Prime has like a ridiculous amount of terrible 80s horror movies on.
Sorry for watching them.
Yeah, and I mean, they've got some real stinkers, like really terrible ones, but there's some gems in there. And so I watched that night. It wasn't one that I like was into when I was when I was watching those movies. I was like really into John Carpenter, but I do know what it is, and it's a bit silly. It was a bit silly in my opinion.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Joseph Zawada, Maddie, anything?
On Abyss?
Yeah. Or like,
I've never
okay,
heard of it.
cool.
Justin's like, what is it?
I've never heard of it.
I look, Maddie's panically Googling all the names of these things. Yeah, what's The Abyss? What?
I can just see her writing it down and when
It's like I feel like
we're scratching it out.
Kirk has a Jaws poster. How apropos.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I do.
Professionals. All of us. Julian, what about The Abyss for you? Did you ever see
I
did you ever
wa-
see Abyss?
I watched it like not in theaters, but like on rental, like the family rented it like a year later, give or take or whatever. What I can remember of it, I remember just being like freaked out, but also again I was like 10 or 11 years old, so
What is this? This looks hideous. I looked up this movie. It's so ugly.
The Abyss?
Aw.
Yeah, it's not cute. It's
Yeah.
not.
What is
It's
that thing?
It's not Alien in terms of its design. I'll
What
say
is
that.
What is this like shape of water? Like what
We can
is
talk about that. I can talk about that for a few hours if you guys want to.
Go ahead, Maddie. What's
why?
up?
Wait, why is it when I googled it, a bunch of Asian people popped up?
There may be a different second movie.
It says Korean, The Abyss, and it's like
it's
this
the Abyss. Abyss,
Oh.
I just looked it up, is a Korean drama for those who are interested. You need to look up the Abyss.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
Stay tuned for the Korean drama episode, everybody.
I guess, yeah.
Please don't blow your cat's butthole.
The only way he goes away.
Well, Flynn's not coming back. All right, so I do want to talk about Carpenter because he had a big influence on my life. So I'm going to go around the room. You tell me what your favorite Carpenter movie was, and we'll go from there. I'm going to start with Kirk because Kirk loves John Carpenter.
Yeah,
In theory.
I could definitely say so.
All right, Kirk. The floor is
Favorite-
yours.
All right, favorite John Carpenter film would be The Thing. And I think The Thing is my favorite because
Solid.
it's just the whole setting of just, being in the middle of like this very snowy sort of, you can't really call it like a wasteland, but just this very far off place where there isn't a lot of people to be able to help you in a situation where there's just like alien species that's trying to take all of your men out, including you. I think that it really kind of put me in that setting where it's just like, okay, I'm actually kind of scared of this. And I can't really say that many 80s films have sort of done that for me. Some of them that I've watched have been more like, okay, this is just silly. some parts might kind of make me kind of like jump here and there, but it's more silly. But that movie was just like, okay, what the heck am I watching? I kind of want to see what's going to happen next. And like even just the part with like the part with the dog, that was what really got me hooked. Where I was just like, oh, okay, poor dog,
Like,
but I really want to see what's going to happen to this thing.
whoa,
So, yeah.
really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. And I know, Flynn, you love Carpenter, so you go ahead. You do your thing.
Sure. Well, I mean, the thing's amazing, and you know, Kurt Russell. Am I right? Like,
Oh,
Kurt
yeah.
Russell
Yeah.
or anything.
Kurt Russell Prime.
But yeah, a favorite is really hard to say. Like, I can say my top two.
Yeah,
it would
go
be
for it.
between the first Halloween movie and The Thing. Like, those are both like, and because I really see The Thing more as kind of like sci-fi horror, and Halloween is more sort of straight up horror. But I also, and it's not a horror movie at all, but Escape from New York is like in
There
my
you
top echelon of like, if it's on TV and I'm flipping channels, I will 100% stop and watch it, even though I've seen it like a billion times. But-
So we used to do that with the Shawshank Redemption. Whenever it was on, we watched 5 minutes of this. I guess we're watching this. But now that's become the Escape from New York for me. I'm like, I'm like 30 minutes in. Oh, okay, it's not a big deal. All right, no problem.
Oh, sure. Well, The Thing is another one like that for me too. If I see it on, I will absolutely like watch it. So good. And solid pick, Kirk. I gotta say, solid pick.
All right, it's time to put Maddie on the spot. All right, Maddie, favorite John Carpenter film? Go.
I just had to Google him.
Same.
So
I'm not saying
did?
it's happening over here.
All right, so Julian, what's your favorite Carpenter movie?
I just looked it up. It's
Damn it.
what? I didn't even get
No.
to finish answering.
Yeah, Maddie didn't get to finish. Oh my goodness.
He I really liked. I did actually see all of the UK X Factor. He did write some episodes for the UK X Factor, so kudos.
Okay.
Wait, isn't the X Factor like a talent competition?
Yes.
Does
Is it the same John Carpenter?
It might-
John Carpenter wrote X Factor episodes. Look it up. It's on the web.
how do you write
Wait.
a talent competition show?
This doesn't make sense. I feel like this has got to be a different Carpenter. This can't be the same.
It's him because he has the thing and stuff listed.
Huh.
All right. Well, there you go. We all
that's
learned something
interesting.
here today.
Wow.
We've all learned
He
something very
went to
important.
that level in 2016.
Yeah, money's money, right?
Must have been a slow year.
Mhm.
I
All right, so
have.
I'm going to save Julian for last. I'm going to put Joseph. Thank you, Maddie. Oh,
Mhm.
Emily would like to say something before Joseph. Sorry, man.
Mhm.
I just meant in general. You didn't have to go in front of Bill.
Jesus Christ. Okay. All right. Here you go, Joseph. You got the floor.
I also had to Google who John Carpenter was, and I've only seen one of his movies. So my default answer is Escape from New York. Or is it Escape 2?
Okay.
That's the only one I've seen.
Yes.
Gotcha.
I don't know
Good
why I
one.
got the invite to this episode. I'm not going to be a fun participant.
It's
I apologize.
fine. It's
Hey,
fine.
you picked the one that has Kurt Russell in it, so it's all good with me.
Mm.
I mean, to be fair, that's not hard to do with a Carpenter film. He was kind of his go-to for a little bit.
Well, but to be fair, also, like, Snake Plissken is his greatest role. I think we can all agree that Kurt Russell's greatest role was Snake Plissken. And if we can't all agree, just don't say anything.
Tombstone.
Who's Kurt Russell?
Oh,
Oh, honey, no.
I have to look it up now.
Wait, Maddie, have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2?
No. Do I look like someone? who
Okay, so I
watches
can't even go with that. I can't even go with that. Darn it.
Oh, I see what he looks like. I understand who he is, but I don't
Okay.
know anything that he's in.
Okay, that's fine.
just watch Escape from New York. If you never watch any other movie in your life, just watch Escape from New York.
Oh boy.
Plus, it's got the Scream Queen from the 80s in there, Helena What's-Her-Name, who was also in The Mist, which is the best Carpenter movie of all time forever.
Can we talk about Scream Queens, the TV show?
In
No.
the fall.
Okay.
I mean, the plot.
No.
Julian, What's your favorite John Carpenter movie?
So, like, I know the name. I knew the movies once I saw it, but I didn't even realize it. It said he was a writer on one of my favorite movies, Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's it's not a horror movie, but there's some sci-fi in there. You know.
I'm getting Mike Wazowski by this stupid duck.
Can
Can the audience see that?
no, the audience can't see that. It's only us.
Oh, okay.
You can put me back in the corner. I'll show you.
I
what
can
to
go
do.
in the corner. Is that the dunce corner for not knowing?
No.
All right. So the next question I got here is, Emily would like to speak.
Emily wants to be on the show. I'm sorry. I like horror movies. I get very excited. And Carpenter is probably my favorite director of all time.
Okay.
Really?
Yes, he's definitely one of them. He's one I recognize immediately. So.
Yeah, he definitely has a very specific style.
And I think The Thing is one of the best horror movies ever made, because not only is it the setting perfect, like the monster is amazing, all the characters are interesting and intricate, they're smart. The characters do things that are smart, and The Thing beats them anyway. It's not like a whole bunch of teenagers stupidly running into a house and running upstairs and then making
exactly
while some dude with a chainsaw chases them for 3 hours, which is entertaining, but it's not necessarily scary. Whereas The Thing, they're doing everything they possibly can to fight back and to stay alive, and they're still losing.
Well, and I mean, and the whole concept of something that can make it look like anything else, it can basically like replicate, your friend, and you don't really know until it's too late.
Yeah.
It's why I'm like, the remake of The Thing was not as good. One, because the people are stupid, and then Harbinger Town, which was, I guess, supposed to be like something that was made with The Thing, or it was a relative of The Thing, or like some spiritual successor. It's terrible because the monster's stupid and the people are stupid. Like, it doesn't have any of the...
That's a terrible combination.
Yeah, it's a really bad time.
I'm going to bring it to Prometheus for a moment, and just that part where they're touching the snake things.
Yeah.
Where they touch the sludge.
Stupid people.
Gotcha.
Stupid people.
Yeah.
Stupid people.
Speaking of aliens, so Alien was the first movie that actually made me ask my dad to like hang out with me in my bedroom for a little while I fell asleep. That movie scared the bejesus out of me.
Really? Interesting.
It was not a good time. It was horribly scary, and I just remember thinking, like, when Dallas is in the vents, like, I had nightmares about that. Just like that claustrophobic scene, and like just all of that sucked. All of it, every last bit of it. Kirk, what are your thoughts?
Well, okay, so when I obviously wasn't born in the 80s, so when I watched it,
neither was I.
Wait, really? Oh boy. So when I watched it for the first time, I will say that there were some moments where I was like, okay, I'm gonna slightly turn my head because I'm slightly scared of this and I don't want to see what's about to happen. Especially with the scene with Dallas in the vents. It's one of the reasons why when I was playing Alien Isolation with Jeff, why I got super scared of being in the vents. I'm like, I don't want to be in here. Can you get me out of here right now? So that was one of the scenes that really got to me. And then I think the other scene that really got to me with that movie was the one, who the heck was it? I can't remember his name, but it was the one where it's in the room with all the chains and the water dripping. Yeah. So when he died, that was another thing that I'm like, okay, dude, there's chains rattling. Obviously he's hanging up there. You might want to get out of the room, and you just have the cat just in the corner not doing anything. So it's like, okay, you know what's about to happen. I'm just going to slightly turn my head once again and not look at this. So yeah. Then I watched it a second time, and then I could just sit through it since I already like kind of remember what sounds and sort of like what's about to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I will say that that's one of the movies that I can say actually does kind of put a bit of fear into me when watching it.
See, those are the best kind. With like before the cheap jump scares and everything else, like honest to God suspense and fear was great.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I've never seen it.
Sure, honey, we've watched it all the time. That's one of our favorites to rewatch.
Yeah,
especially since like a lot of the stuff is like practical and not whatchamacallit, like CGI, like how it all depends on these days.
Mm-hmm. Flynn, what are your thoughts on Alien? This is an easy show tonight.
It is easy.
It's another one of those, like, like it's like in my top 10, and I can't say it's 80s because that was actually 79.
79?
Oh, yeah, it was, wasn't it?
And I would have been 12 when it came out.
That was
so
one.
I was too young to go see it, but I remember that a friend of mine in school got to see it, and him vividly recreating the chest bursting scene for me in the lunchroom, like telling the story of what happened, and me just being like, what? And then eventually when cable TV became a thing. How's that for old? When we finally got cable TV, I was able to see it along with a lot of those other movies. That's where I saw Escape from New York, Creep Show, all of those movies, and I watch them over and over and over again.
She gets mad at me because I do the same.
Nuh-uh.
Okay, never mind. Where does Richard sit with you on all this? Is he watching with you, or is he like, damn it, Flynn, you're watching this again?
No, when we watch together, we tend to watch newer stuff. Sometimes we watch older stuff, but I tend to. I'm one of those people that, like, especially if I'm like building or I'm working on a project, I have to have some kind of something running in the background.
Exactly.
And a lot of times, like, music doesn't do it for me. So a lot of times it's movies, and I will just routinely put on something that I've seen a billion times because I don't have to necessarily watch it, but I get I'm getting the sounds and hearing the dialogue and stuff, and it helps me focus. So, I've seen a lot of things many times.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, no,
Right.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Em, what are your thoughts on Alien?
It's amazing. The practical effects have it's got one of the best. It's got one of the best creature designs ever. They got Giger involved.
And Stan Winston.
And Stan Winston was involved. And I think at one point, one of the artists they had to sideline because he was working himself to exhaustion, trying to make this thing as pretty as possible. It's a dude in a suit, and it's amazing. And casting her was, I think, a brilliant choice.
Sigourney Weaver? Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's so, I don't know how to say this without sounding like an asshole because the whole new language thing is new to me. But when I think of female role models, I think of Sigourney Weaver just because of the characters that she's played, the things that she's done, and everything else.
I mean, she's a badass, but she's not.
Indeed.
She's a badass, but she's not a jerk like she is, like so many of the female role models they make are. She's still kind and soft-hearted to Newt in the second movie and that kind of stuff, whereas in so many of the others it's
I think she had sex with a monkey in that gorilla movie.
I haven't seen whatever movie you're talking about, but okay.
Silence of the Lambs?
No, Gorilla's in the Mist.
Yeah. No,
she
she did not have sex with the gorilla.
She didn't have sex with the gorilla?
No, she was kind and open-hearted, but no sex.
No sex with monkeys. Gotcha.
No. Those were gorillas.
And this is Flynn's last time he'll ever be here. Julian! What are your thoughts on...
We'll see. The jury's out.
That's fair, man.
I never saw Aliens.
Okay, now I'm never coming back.
There it is.
Boy.
There it is.
Oh, boy.
It only took a little push.
However, the movie is so iconic that the scene that Flynn was talking about was reenacted on Spaceballs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, that to me, it tells you, it's just like what we're talking about with Jaws. things that are so iconic, like the Sigourney Weaver mech that she drives around in. Yeah. These things, like, you don't have to see the movie. Like, when movies transcend pop culture beyond and it just becomes part of who we are.
Yep.
As a culture, you know something's there, whether it's your thing or not.
See, and that's what I feel about the iconic television show Scream Queens that Jeff refuses to talk about. It shaped a generation. It shaped my generation.
I think it shaped you. I don't know about a generation.
Hey, Maddie, what do you got for us? Anything on Alien?
I just remember my dad watching it on cable, and when it was on TV, telling us to leave the room.
A wise choice.
That's perfectly understandable.
I remember seeing shots of the chick, whoever the actress you were talking
Sigourney
about.
Weaver.
Yeah, I'm being like, she's so cool. She's got short hair, and she's wearing cargo pants, and she's like being badass. But I've not actually ever seen it, so put that on my list. It's been on my list for a while.
It's really good.
Yep.
Like, it really is.
So we're gonna put Flynn in between the two fat guys on the airplane.
Lean in.
Oh boy.
Eponymous? Eponymous?
What?
Eponymous?
Yeah.
What does that mean? It has too many syllables.
Epic. What's going to be iconic with the new generation of? Say the last 20.
Big word. SAT question.
So what are your all thoughts on that? What's the next movie that may have come out or whatever, horror sci-fi wise, that's just going to stick with us in the next 20 years?
I gotta say that I haven't seen anything in a really long time that has stuck with me the way that, and maybe it's just because the age that I, saw them the first time, but I have to say there hasn't been a whole lot of horror in the last years that's really, and the stuff that did stick with me is stuff I don't think like the general populace, like it's not gonna shape a generation or anything, I really liked, I thought Midsummer was really great and so weird, and I really liked it a lot. And Hereditary was really great, but those aren't movies that I think everybody's gonna have seen. Me personally, largely like all the Saw movies and all of that. It doesn't have the same kind of, to me, iconicness that some of those other ones would. But then again, it's not my generation, so
I get it. I can't really say the same. I can say the same, to be honest, because like I said, I've seen some new stuff here and there. So whether it may be the remake of Stephen King's It or anything like that, I don't think those really do it for me. Like, for me, if you were to ask me which It I like more, 9 times out of 10 I'm probably going to end up saying the one with Tim Curry, because that one I find more appealing and more iconic compared to this one. And yes, it may be new and it may be scarier, as some people may put it, because I have a friend who's like, well, this one's scarier, it actually scared me more than compared to the classic one. I probably would never want to watch that.
I got to interrupt you there, Kirk, and not call you out on anything you're saying is wrong. But we say scare, do you mean like you do with the Vince and Alien, or do you mean like a jump scare?
For them, it would be jump scare.
Well, that's not scary.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think the thing that bothered me about the newer It, I mean, first of all, that horrifically unnecessary scene at the beginning of the second movie that I just don't even want to go into.
Oh yeah.
But
it's in the book, but it's done so bad. Like, in the book, it's so important and it's so tragic, and then in the movie, it's just ugh.
Yeah, but what I thought about it compared to the Tim Curry one. I mean, first of all, Tim Curry, amazing.
I mean, right.
And the special effects overshadowed what you know, like there was just so many special effects. There was so much CGI, and I, you know, not that there wasn't in the, you know, the first one, but there was so much, just so much amazing practical effects, and I just find those so much more intriguing to know that somebody, like, you know, went to the trouble. And I think, and just to have like a quick jaunt over into a whole nother area, and just to say this to Kirk, that's one of the things that I loved so much about WandaVision was finding out that they did everything with practical effects.
That was a good, that was a cool show. Yeah.
Those first several episodes, and it just made it so much more, I don't know, real, right?
Yeah,
totally agree. Totally agree.
I think Ninja has a good point. Like that first Conjuring movie, and like even if I wasn't necessarily super impressed with it personally, I think Blair Witch created a genre. You know,
well,
like,
yeah, I mean, that found footage, that found footage thing is really popular, and I think that from like The Conjuring, I'll just say right up, like, movies about possession do nothing for me. Like, they don't scare me. They don't, like, even like I've seen The Exorcist and I like appreciate it for what it is as like in our horror movie canon. And again, that iconography of horror movies, like I get it, but it's just never scared me. It's not something that I'm like, I'm not scared that that's going to happen. So the Conjuring movies to me are very much like the original Amityville Horror movie, right? That like kind of haunted house ghost possession thing, and it just has never done anything for me.
Yeah,
but actually, it's you when you say that, and the person who brought it up when you were asking, like, you know, that is one that I think, like, while doesn't appeal to me, is one that might stick for our current generation, for sure.
I hate to say this, but the first Riddick movie, Pitch Black, to me, that was a good mix of Alien and Aliens.
That one was all right.
It wasn't like the greatest movie in the world by far, but I think it'll stick with people because it showed what can be done with a solid, well, kind of a weak story, but like how actors kind of made that movie into better than what it was supposed to be, because that's a B movie throughout and throughout, maybe a C movie, you know? And to me, having a character with, you know, night vision eyes or whatever that ridiculous plot was just awesome. It was neat. It was cool to see that sort of interaction between like a man that's a killer and then killers themselves, and seeing how somebody can be good if they're forced into a situation to be good. I'm rambling at this point. So,
no, you're good.
Move on. Who's next?
Well, I'm gonna actually have to go shortly. Yeah. So I was hoping that just for a second, we were talking about you know, Prime and all the terrible, like awesome, terrible 80s movies that there are on there.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to mention Chopping Mall. And if you've never seen Chopping Mall, it is like terribly amazing.
Boy.
It's so bad.
Okay,
are you kidding?
So
it's called Chopping Mall.
P-P-I-N-G, Chopping Mall. Okay.
Is it like someone with an axe? Okay, give me the synopsis. Go.
Okay, so this is the thing. Here's the story about Chopping Mall. When I was a kid, and before I could go see, like, you know, I wasn't allowed to go see the R-rated movies and all that stuff. So you actually read a thing called a newspaper, and it was like this big piece of paper that you like opened up, and it had stuff inside, like articles and stuff.
Okay, bro, I'm not that young.
Kind of like a blog, but on paper. So this is for any audience members who may not know. So anyway, there was always like a huge entertainment section, and they would have all the movies that you know that were playing, and their movie ads were a big thing. You could see all the movie ads, and I used to get really scared just by some of the ads. And the one for Chopping Mall was like a monster hand with like a shopping bag, and then it has like I think like an axe sticking out of it, and then there's like a hole in the bottom of the shopping bag, and there's just like an eye looking out, and you can, you know, so like there's like a head in the bag. That scared me so bad when I was a kid. Like that image scared the crap out of me. So fast forward, it's on Prime, and I'm like, oh, there's that movie ad that scared the crap out of me. And I was like, wait, that doesn't look so much like a monster arm like I remembered. That looks kind of more like a robot arm. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so it's like about a bunch of teenagers who decide to stay overnight at a mall that has just installed a robot security system. And when I say robot, I mean like a spray painted silver shoebox on a roller skate. And and so there's an electrical storm, and it like makes them go haywire. And the rest of the movie is just like these, robots chasing around these teenagers and like blowing them up. And it's ridiculous.
I just looked it up, and you are right about the advertisement with the shopping bag and the hand looks like a robot. But the robots themselves, the heads look like the dude from Power Rangers. There's like one red stripe across, and it's like an oval football-shaped head.
Yes, yeah. And sorry, I was exaggerating when I said a shoebox on a roller skate. It really is better, better than that.
Not much, but yeah.
But I just remember, like when I did finally watch it, I was like, this is what I was so terrified of. And it's weird how your like kid brain filled, like my kid brain filled in a monster hand, even though like it was a robot hand, right? But I will never forget that, just like that image. And then come to find out later that a lot of those really terrible 80s movies, they came up with the title first and made a poster out of it, and then they would just like make the movie without having anything to, sometimes nothing to do with it. They're like, okay, here's the title, Chopping Mall, here's some money, go.
I mean, basically, yeah. And then here's $5, make a movie.
Right.
I think my favorite 80s horror movie, it's more like a slasher, is it's like, I might not get it perfectly correct, but it's like Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2.
Oh, Prom Night 2, Hello, Mary Lou.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I love it. And then when that girl, has anyone seen this movie?
I haven't. Okay, so I haven't watched it yet. I watched the first one, the other,
which has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's ridiculous.
My favorite scene, it's horrific, is first when the girl makes out with her dad. That is so insane. She's like possessed.
Oh,
It's like
gross.
Unnecessary.
And then also, I like because she's possessed. It's like this like nice girl, and she's possessed by like. Are we allowed? I don't know what words I'm allowed to say on this. She's possessed by like a dead school, the promiscuous girl in school.
Oh, the dead slut. Okay. All right.
Yeah, that was the word. Yeah. And so she's, she's possessed like this nice girl, and she's like horrifying her like Christian family. And that's one of the things that she does. And the other one is this girl has this like rocking horse, and she's like laying on it. And the rocking horse has like this long tongue, and she's like sitting there stroking the tongue. It is so horrifying. I highly suggest watching it.
You know what? I think I'll pass on that one.
Yeah.
Well, so the first Prom Night movie has Jamie Lee Curtis in it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It's really bad.
It wasn't. I might be wrong. Wasn't there like a? I don't know the proper term. It might be reboot or no, not even reboot. It's probably like a remake of Prom Night that came out at some point.
I think so. Yeah, like not too long ago.
Mm-hmm, but I didn't bother to watch it. Yeah.
Are you thinking of Carrie?
No.
That's very different.
What about Carrie?
A whole other thing.
What about Carrie 2: The Rage?
No.
Okay, so here's the thing with that. I started watching that and then I turned it off because I didn't care for it.
The original is a classic. Again, talk about iconography of a horror movie. Sorry to keep coming back to this. It's just these are the things, right? Like these are the images. If you're a horror movie fan, these are the images in your head. Hellraiser, another one of my favorites. Like just that guy with the pins and the box. Like even if you've never seen it, you know that image, right? Like I think that's so interesting. Like Julian was saying that's. You can tell the longevity of something, even if, the movie itself isn't something that you do, that when that impression stays with you and becomes a cultural icon, it's really it's interesting to see. I find it fascinating.
Real quick before you go, because we talked about this briefly in IMs, and it was going to be a joke. But what about Friday the Night, or what is Nightmare on Elm Street 2?
Nightmare on Elm Street 2, the gay one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Y'all, that was...
There's so many naked men, and just it's so weird, and I love it. It's such a weird movie.
It's so good.
It's so I don't know how much if you followed up on it, but there is so the guy Mark Patton, who was the star of that, was actually gay, and it was a very difficult experience for him making the movie because people, it was the 80s and that wasn't cool. And there is actually a documentary called Scream Queen that it's about him and about making the movie. There's also some a lot of documentary material about the making of the movie. And, the writer has gone like back and forth saying he purposely put gay content in it and then says he didn't put gay content in it. And it's been, it was a very difficult thing. So you should check out the documentary, that Scream Queen documentary, because it's quite good. And he seems like a really, it was tough.
Yeah,
it's like the Shining, the original Shining, where he just tormented whoever was playing the girl.
Woman.
Yeah,
he just tormented that woman to make her seem genuinely afraid.
Shelley Duvall. Yeah,
and that gave her a nervous breakdown just to make her seem genuinely terrified. I hate that.
That's the. So before we lose you, Flynn, I'm gonna get up on my soapbox. See, that's the thing about being gay today. Everybody's kind of okay with it, Like there's still the random asshole or two out there that's like, "What the hell?" But during the '80s, like we just talked about, if you were gay and out, you were either so rich and just that one guy at the social parties, or you were the kid crying because you couldn't figure out your own emotions and your own feelings,
or you were dead,
or somebody found out and you're dead. So just keep that in mind, everybody, when it comes to homosexuality and just acceptance and everything else. Don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
Just don't.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think that's a pretty good rule of life in general.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Rugby Star. What's up?
Well, I was going to say there was a TikTok that was trending today, and I couldn't help but laugh, but then be like, oh my God, that's ironic. There's these people on this boat in the water, and they had their gay pride flag up, and the people were circling and flipping them off and shouting at them, and they got video footage of it, and then their boat blew up, and they were in the water, and the only boat that was nearby was the boat that they were just flipping off and being horrible to, and the people like jokingly said in the video edit was like, should we help them? Oh yeah, we're gonna help them. That's right.
and they went back.
Mm-hmm.
They went back to these people who've been calling them terrible things and threatening them and harassing them this whole time. Apparently, the driver of the boat that exploded crapped himself too. He literally he crapped himself in fear.
Love it.
And so then had to deal with that also.
Of the explosion?
I guess, yeah.
Oh,
probably of getting picked up by someone that they just made fun of so badly. I would hope.
Those men are better people than I am. Left them in the water.
Sure.
Before Flynn goes, can I share my screen?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, I'm scared.
Hey Flynn, you're not allowed to go. Period.
He's got 60 seconds. He's got to do a Bricks by the Bay.
Well, no, I got to go in a few minutes. I'm actually, Richard and I are hosting the LGBTQIA meetup at Bricks by the Bay.
That is horrifying. Yeah, I'm
I
good.
don't like it.
No,
Away.
that's a big no.
Why was it wet?
I mean,
It's an excellent question.
last time I checked, my tongue is wet.
Tell us what Bricks by the Bay is.
So this is real quick. Speaking of wet tongues,
That's a weird segue into Bricks by the Bay, but okay.
No. Speaking of wet tongues, I remember going to see, and it's like comedy horror, but the original Little Shop of Horrors in the 80s. No, I mean, not the original. The original was 60s, but Little Shop of Horrors in the 80s one. And I remember the first time, like, the plant started talking and it had a tongue. And I remember being so freaked out that it was wet. And I was like, oh, my God. Because I knew it was a puppet, but then I couldn't figure out how they made it look all, like, wet and slimy. And it was so gross. It was amazing. But yeah, Bricks by the Bay. It's our local Lego convention, and it is happening right now. They just had the opening ceremonies like now, and then we're going to go host this meetup. And it's going all weekend. I think you can still sign up and check out all the mocks. There's lots of people showing stuff and talks and all that good stuff. And hopefully I think it'll be the last virtual Bricks by the Bay. They'll be, back in person next year. So
hopefully.
And what did Tricky Lug do for display for Bricks by the Bay?
They did a Let's Go Camping display. So it's a whole series of camping mocks. So that should be fun. And it should be cute. There was lots of different people doing different stuff. And of course, and this is a great way to end my being here. One of the people who is a big horror movie fan, and his first question was, "Can I do a Friday the 13th mock?" And I said, "Yes, you can."
I would try a sleepaway camp mock.
Oh, sleepaway camp. That's another class.
Boy.
But I would have built.
That one's so weird.
All right, Flynn, we're not going to keep you late, but thank you very much for coming on, and thank you very much for being here, and thank you very much for just being a role model for me personally, because when I came out, it was the year after I saw you and Richard on Lego Masters. And I was like, holy shit, that's like a positive couple. That's the example of a couple. And it really got the gears working for a while. And when just a huge weight off my shoulders. So thank you.
Oh, well, thank you, Jeff. That's very kind. I'm glad that that we can be helpful and inspiring to people. That's like what I can hope that we take away from all of this.
Absolutely. So, much love to your husband, sir. Thank you very much for stopping
Thanks.
by.
I would love to come back again when I can stay longer and talk more horror movies, because I could go on all day.
Oh, same.
I could
Can we have you back for a Lego episode?
Oh, I don't really know much about Lego.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
So embarrassing.
No, go ahead.
So
I'm all ears.
Boy.
As lots of people would know, the casting for Lego Masters is very aggressive.
Is it?
It is, and they'll be like, please on the show, blah blah blah. They'll write you. In my case, they write your family.
Oh, so you're a pretty big deal then, huh?
No, I think it's.
Oh no!
Was there a bug? Like, what happened?
There was a spider on me.
Oh.
So.
Is it still on you?
No, it's over there.
Oh, it's on the wall behind you. I see it.
No, it's not. I'm looking at it.
Is it just a prop?
I want to finish my story.
Okay.
You went to the thing.
So they reached out to me. I was like, no, thank you. I'm good. Then soon thereafter, I went to the Lego store, and I've been to this Lego store before. It was my local Lego store. It hasn't been ever since.
Didn't you tell people there that you were being asked to audition for it?
That's what I'm getting to.
Okay.
So I'm checking out, and they give me like the Lego Masters Season 1 promotion bag, because it had already filmed, it had already wrapped. And me not realizing at the time that being asked to be on the show is not necessarily mean that you're going to. I was like, oh, they asked. They want me on the show, and they think I'm going to win. It's not the case. So
Oh boy.
I was standing there with the bag, and I'm holding it, and I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking in my mind, how do I imply to the staff that they wanted me on this show and they thought I was going to win without explicitly saying they want me on this show and they think I'm going to win? And I couldn't think of it. So I'm just standing there staring at this Lego Masters bag. And the manager's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm fine. Do you need anything?" I was like, "No." And my sister's there with me. She's like, "Can we go?" And I'm just staring at this bag, and I'm like, "Well, now I need to say something." And I'm just standing there. It's right behind me, the bag, the very same bag. And I'm just holding it, and I go, I just really wish I had been able to be on that program. And then I left, and then the guy was like, "Okay." Oh, and then I think at one point he wanted to give me like a high five, and I don't like giving high fives. I'm not into like physical touch. So he's trying to give me a high five, and I'm just like, "Oh, yeah, I don't do high fives."
Man,
it's just so much awkward.
It's a good thing that you'll never meet Julian and I, because Julian and I got a hug.
I don't like physical touch.
You know, they're huggers.
We're
I'm
huggers.
like, "Oh, hello, hi over there." So yeah, I can never go back. And I haven't been back ever since, and it's probably been like 2.5 years. 2 years now. When did that show release? 2 years ago?
I think you're okay to go back because usually their staff rotates.
It was the manager, and he's been there for like 4 years.
Oh.
You never
You're
know.
not the weirdest or cringiest person he's ever had walk through that door.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Probably not even the top 300.
I
Yeah,
know,
but he went in DC. Then we know somebody that visited DC for a week, and when he walked through the door, I'm pretty sure the manager went, "Oh, Jesus."
What?
Don't worry
Sorry,
about
I
it.
off. Okay.
Julian, what did you do this week in Lego? Bye, Kevin. It was nice for you to listen up to this point. Julian, what'd you do?
I'm bringing sexy back.
You are. That is a massive castle.
I worked on that section today, but just getting the boxes out of the bedroom and unpacking them was a feat in and of itself. So
Oh, shit.
back to castle building. Got to have it ready for October.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Maddie, what about you? What have you been doing in Lego?
I've just been building the Chamber of Secrets and thinking about finishing up some mocks. Also been labeling everything in my room. So
Yeah, I
It's
thought
been
you
a lot
got
of
the
fun.
new label maker.
Are you just
I
like writing like
know.
mine?
Hey, Maddie, I have a question for you. Have you
Uh-huh.
labeled your label maker yet?
no, but I've labeled
on.
everything under the sun. Oh, I did label something new since last time I saw you. You want to see it?
Yeah. What do you got?
Can you see it?
Barely.
I see
It
red
says-
and then white lettering.
It says expensive Harry Potter set.
Oh,
Wait. Let's look at it again.
Yeah.
Expensive Harry Potter set. Also labeled all of the things that I'm working on. I think if you don't follow me on TikTok, this is one of the ones that everybody was laughing at.
I
Work,
saw you.
work in progress.
It's a nice label maker.
I
yeah.
know it's an old school one. They don't make them anymore.
Yeah.
How'd you
Yeah,
get
there's
yours?
like a spinny dial.
Yeah, it's a little springy dial.
Joseph, what have you been doing with Lego this week?
I have been taking the Lego World Map set and like remixing it.
Whoa.
So we
That's
have
nice.
the Netherlands. Here in the black, you can see I ran out of dark turquoise. So I ordered like 400 more to fill in that, and then some. And then right there is like Amsterdam,
I want that so
like
bad.
row houses.
I
That
want
looks
so
nice.
bad.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna do one. I haven't decided yet. It all depends on like what spatially I can do, but like windmills, tulips. Maddie recommended clogs. Something. Tulips.
Tulips?
Yeah, the Netherlands have like not those tulips.
Okay. All right.
So one thing,
Did that.
Tulips.
you know how there's some countries that have like disputed land masses, like Japan and Russia have some islands that are disputed, and I don't know, like other places. I'm really hoping that the Netherlands doesn't have any of that, because like I don't want like me to post this And then for someone to be like, oh, well, I'm from, I don't know what country's neighbor, the Netherlands, I apologize. But for them to be like, oh, that's not Netherlands.
Argentina.
I'm not Dutch. It was more out of, I had multiple cities in mind to build a model after. It was this or San Francisco or Tokyo. It was one of those three.
Yeah.
And this is the one that just kind of turned out. I don't want to build this and then for someone to get upset that I accidentally included landmass of the Netherlands that is like just Belgium, some Belgian person, love the people of Belgium, to be like that landmass is actually part of Belgium. How dare you? It's contested land. I don't want to get into an international Lego controversy. Okay, I'm just out here trying to get some more of these sets sold. That's my goal. Even though they're sold out.
All press is good press, I guess.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, VW Bricks. That's very kind of you. Thank you.
Yeah, Jeff's good people. Jeff's a Canadian. I think I might get him on here, and maybe we'll loosen him up a little bit, and we'll have some good times on a Lego episode in the future. So, Kirk, tell me about your Predator 2 mock you've been working on this week.
No, haven't worked on it. I haven't worked on any Lego mocks at all. I haven't
Ever.
Yeah, haven't.
Oh, he is taking a break, but I'm just
It's just a joke. The Predator, yeah. No, I haven't. I mean, I was building something the other day, but that was for quarantine guys because I got that Lego house set, so I was working on that. But I haven't finished building it because I'll save it for next Tuesday.
What's that?
Quarantine cast. That's great.
What's that?
Yeah.
What's that?
Lego.
What's that?
Oh boy, Julian.
No, what are we?
What's that?
The Lego. I said it. I said the Lego house exclusive. It's the brick molding machine.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah. That one.
You had me at house, and then you lost me at machine.
Yeah.
He has exclusive sets.
Oh yeah, that's what he does. Kirk doesn't talk very much, but if he opens up his trench coat, you see what he's packing.
Just.
Ew.
Way to make that weird, Julian.
Crazy might be a little off their tools, but I don't care.
Bye.
Oh boy. I will say one thing though before we end, because we were talking about like sequel. We sort of briefly brought up like sequels that have nothing to do with their like predecessor or like aren't even related. So, there's Troll 2. I will say that is one of the one of the weirdest ones I've seen that exists. And it has nothing to do with the first one, which is called Troll. That movie just took on a title and just took it just to run with it, I guess, for popularity, because it's actually supposed to be called Goblin. And no, not the animated DreamWorks movie. No. So yeah, no. So yeah, so that movie's just weird. That's. I think I've seen it. Twice. The first time was out of curiosity, and the second one was just out of boredom because I wanted just something to laugh at while I was building.
That is correct.
I think it's considered one of the worst movies ever made.
Yeah, you can see the zipper on the back of the thing.
Yeah, it's one of the worst. And there's a scene in it with the boy and the food that's just like, okay, and it's the line that the father gives after he sees what the boy did or learns what the boy did, and it's just like. It's so stupid but funny at the same time. It's
definitely funny. That whole movie is funny.
Yeah.
They're eating him, and then they're gonna eat me.
Exactly.
Oh
my god. Yeah. That's funny because I actually use that as a clip thing for like a notification on my Twitch streams, and no one's used it yet, so they'll see it eventually. It's gonna play that audio bit in the scene with the guy with the glasses, so that'll be fun.
Oh yeah, congratulations on hitting affiliate on Twitch, by the way. So,
thank you. Yeah, I did it. I'll be working on setting that up and everything over this weekend, so hopefully that'll be ready by next stream, which will be sometime next week. So yeah.
Congrats, man. That's awesome.
That's wonderful, Kirk. I hope you do really well with it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yep.
I hope you fail. No.
Oh, Julie.
So I'm going to talk about some mocks that I've been working on and did, and then I think I'm going to wrap it unless anybody else wants to talk about stuff.
Okay.
And you went.
I already went.
Oh yeah,
I'm
sure.
good.
She was the label maker. I'm sorry, my brain. I got so focused on the label maker, it did not even occur to me she mentioned the Chamber of Secrets.
So I've been building
shows
this
my
motorbike
priorities.
that like may or may not be kind of like steampunky, diesel punky, like
Ooh.
stuff. I kind of like the idea of sleds being at the front here, and this is just the frame of it. So we've got to like do a little bit more, but I like the treads in the back, and then I've got a little bit of skis in the front. So obviously it'd be on the sand, and just going more with that post-apocalyptic theme that I touch on but never do anything with.
Yeah.
Good times. Good times. And I was also working on the superheroes display that I wanted to bring to Brick Rodeo, but I think I'm just going to keep it to 2. So I'm going to have to put this up tonight probably. But Robin needed a car. So, like, classic Robin.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I like the color.
Yeah.
That is fly. Like, that is like, I don't know. Reminds me of the shoes.
Yeah, a little
The
bit.
Lego shoes, the Adidas Lego shoes.
Yeah, because if someone else was to do that, they would probably just go with like red and yellow, but like that going with more like the full colors of the shoe looks really nice.
Did I have a stroke? What did she call those shoes?
She called them Adidas.
Adidas.
Oh,
Adidas
Adidas.
is how you pronounce it. Adidas.
Adidas.
Also, I completed my Tim Drake Robin. I finally got the chest piece that I was looking for.
Oh,
And
nice.
Those are Mr. Incredible, Mr. Incredible's arms.
Okay.
Oh.
The new Explorer legs from whatever minifigure that came with.
Mhm.
And then the staff is just pretty simple. But the head is the Nightwing red costume head that came out.
Gotcha.
And the cape is almost 20 years old. It's a cape that my friend made for stuff that we used to do on Flickr called Gotham City War. And this cape was used by his character that he played Robin. And when he was moving away from that and doing his own thing called Bloodfall, which you should all check out, which is a Lego adult comic.
Okay.
He gave me the cloak so that I could keep stories going. And I did for about 2 years, and then I stopped. But I think I want to get back into it again. I don't know. Anyway, so I really appreciate everybody being here tonight. Did I mute you on accident, Julian? I'm sorry.
No, that was me. I'm talking about wieners and beans.
That's fine. But I just wanted to say thanks everybody for watching tonight. That's a big deal to us. It is Pride Month, and as much as we were joking around about all that stuff that goes with it, people that are of the persuasion are beaten up and almost killed every week. And be an ally, stand up for them, stand with them, and just try to be a better person. That's all that I can ask of you. That's all you can be. Don't wear a mask, but get vaccinated. Because, not going to put microchips in you. They might, though.
I got my my shot.
They can track you while you're telling me this on your cell phone. Okay.
They've been tracking me for. Oh, see, see, they're tracking.
From all of us here at the Pink Bucket Nation and the believers in trans rights, our human rights, and Kirk, Mr. BDSM himself.
Poor Kirk.
We love all of you. Thank you very much for being here, and have a wonderful week.
See you, folks.
And we'll talk about Kirk's BDSM problem next week.
No, we won't.
Yes, we will.